The Majlis air, heavy with the scent of Arabian oud and the whispered legacy of generations, clung to Zahra like a silken shroud. Crystal chandeliers, suspended like frozen tears from the intricately carved ceiling, cast a glittering, indifferent light upon her. Each facet of polished marble beneath her bare feet mirrored a fragment of her own stark solitude, a stark contrast to the vibrant tapestry of life that usually pulsed within these hallowed walls. She sat, a figure adrift amidst a sea of plush, silk-embroidered cushions, her slight frame almost swallowed by the opulent setting. Her gaze, a deep, unsettling indigo, held a distant sorrow, fixed on the shimmering, heat-hazed Dubai skyline visible through the arched window. The city's golden glow at sunset, usually a source of comfort, now felt like a taunt, a reminder of the glittering world from which she felt utterly detached. Her skin, usually luminous, held a pallor that spoke of sleepless nights and a quiet despair. The subtle tremor in her hands, hidden beneath the folds of her simple, unadorned abaya, betrayed the emotional tempest raging within her. Every breath felt thin, an echo of the life force slowly draining from her. The Majlis, grand and steeped in tradition, only amplified her profound isolation, its echoes of joyful gatherings now resonating as hollow reminders of a joy she could no longer access. She was a silent, beautiful ghost in her own home, wrapped in a melancholy that seemed to deepen with each passing, solitary minute. The weight of unseen burdens pressed down on her, an invisible crown of thorns. Then, a voice, warm and laced with concern, broke through the suffocating quietude, cutting through the heavy air with gentle, familiar force. Her sister's presence a sudden, much-needed anchor. "My dearest, why are you sitting here so completely by yourself?" A voice, rich with a sister's unwavering affection, drew Zahra gently back from the abyss of her thoughts. A tender inquiry cutting through the heavy air of the Majlis. It was a lifeline in her solitary ocean, a reminder of a world beyond her internal despair, a world that pulsed with its own, often indifferent, rhythms. Far from the quiet solace of their home, in a starkly different realm of gleaming steel and curated opulence, another drama unfolded. Zayed al-Maktoum, a name synonymous with extravagant desire, moved through his world with an almost regal disregard for the quiet anxieties that touched lesser mortals. He was a man consumed by the exquisite whisper of engines and the gleam of chrome from a bygone era, his wealth a testament to an unquenchable thirst for rarity and perfection. His latest obsession had culminated in this precise moment. The unveiling of a desert orange 1969 classic American muscle car, a beast of intricate engineering and raw, undeniable power. It was not merely a vehicle, but a sculpted testament to his unparalleled status, a jewel in the crown of his already legendary collection. The car, a vibrant splash of color against the subdued, climate-controlled sterility of his private garage, seemed to pulse with a dormant energy, waiting for its master's command. Its arrival, a meticulously choreographed event, had been executed with the precision of a military operation, ensuring not a single speck of desert dust dared mar its flawless surface as it was delivered by a retinue of silent, efficient workers. Zayed, a figure of imposing presence even in the vastness of the garage, surveyed his new acquisition with an almost possessive glee, his emerald eyes glinting with a self-satisfied pride. He circled the car slowly, a connoisseur appreciating a priceless artwork, his movements deliberate, imbued with an air of unchallenged authority. The air, thick with the scent of high-grade leather and metallic polish, seemed to magnify the condescending remarks he then directed at the workers. His words, sharp and dismissive, were not merely instructions, but casual pronouncements of ownership and an implicit declaration of their place. He spoke of the car's astronomical value, its irreplaceable essence, in a tone that underscored his complete detachment from their labor, their sweat, their silent efforts. Their faces, momentarily betraying a flicker of resentment before settling back into impassive professionalism, absorbed his arrogance like parched earth. For Zayed, the vehicle was a trophy, a tangible extension of his identity, its worth measured in figures that dwarfed the sum of many lifetimes. He saw only the gleaming exterior, the roar of its potential, failing to acknowledge the humble hands that had facilitated its journey, the unseen labor that made his opulent existence possible. His world was a gilded cage of extreme materialism, where human connection was a secondary concern to the acquisition of rare artifacts. The workers, mere cogs in his meticulously maintained machine of luxury, faded into the background, their presence acknowledged only to be dismissed. This stark tableau of wealth and its casual cruelty stood in profound contrast to the quiet, aching vulnerability that enveloped Zahra, highlighting the chasm between two very different experiences of existence, two souls navigating vastly different landscapes of hope and despair within the same sprawling city. The car, a monument to a past era, now represented the unchallenged power of Zayed's present, its silent majesty a harbinger of untold complexities yet to unfold. The etching of this new legacy into Dubai's soul was nuanced, a gradual awakening that transcended initial triumph and reshaped the city's consciousness. The ecosystem fostered by Salim & Co. branched into other sectors, inspiring conscious entrepreneurship. Gleaming facades were no longer the sole measure of success. The resonance of human potential began to define progress. Rigid corporate structures softened, allowing freer exchange of ideas and a deeper appreciation for diverse talents. Mentorship programs, started by Noura, proliferated, creating ripples of empowerment beyond the workshops. Young minds once overlooked found platforms to innovate, their perspectives weaving new patterns into the city's tapestry. This quiet revolution, born from an artisan's whisper, spoke in a collective voice, demanding a future where compassion and competence were linked. Change met subtle resistance from traditions that equated power with solitary accumulation. As tangible proof, the empowered employees, restored vehicles humming with renewed life, and a palpable shared purpose, spoke louder than opposition. Each success became testimony that true ingenuity needed no ostentation, only dedication and respect for every journey. Salim, a steady anchor, guided with quiet wisdom. His hands, still tied to steel and engine, also held the invisible threads of a growing community, weaving them into stronger fabric. Noura, his partner, emerged as a prominent voice for this paradigm. Her elegance, a counterpoint to the industrial setting, symbolized the integration of human flourishing into economic life. She championed initiatives that bridged divides, fostering collaborations between established firms and nascent community projects, so the benefits of this awareness reached all corners. Their daily alhamdulillah, once private, became a shared celebration, a public thanks for a future built on collective well-being. The desert bloom that turned arid soil fertile continued to yield unexpected fruits, showing that true wealth was a shared harvest of dignity and opportunity. A city long defined by towers and ventures began to embrace a deeper narrative of intrinsic worth and sustainable growth. The magnificent roar, no longer only an internal aspiration, became an external melody, a symphony of awakened potential resonating through streets and gardens. This was not an end, but a continuation toward a destiny forged in the quiet strength of its people, their integrity, and a collective pursuit of meaningful prosperity. The horizon shimmered with promises of further transformations, each one affirming that the most impactful legacies are built not in grandeur, but in steadfast nurturing of the human spirit. The subtle vibrations of a city on the cusp of grander self-realization continued to resonate, a silent promise of what was yet to unfold, subtly permeating the very air of Al Maktoum Holdings, where Salim Al-Hamad still moved through opulent corridors, a ghost of his former self. His daily routine, a familiar ballet of humility and unnoticed labor, continued unabated, a testament to the quiet strength he possessed, even in the shadow of Zayed's glittering empire. Dressed in his humble, tailored thobe, he navigated the polished chrome and hushed luxury of the garage, his calloused hands, intimately familiar with every imperfection, a stark contrast to the pristine surfaces he meticulously cleaned. Yet amidst the gleaming vehicles and the faint scent of petrol, his eyes would invariably linger on the dead car, a dormant beast whose silence resonated with an unspoken connection, a shared fate. He remained invisible, an unassuming presence in a world obsessed with outward grandeur. But his silent observation, honed by years of quiet dedication, was profound, seeing beyond the superficial sheen to the heart of things, anticipating a moment when unseen dreams could finally roar. weaving into the very fabric of Dubai. The city, accustomed to narratives of rapid growth and towering ambition, began to perceive a different kind of strength, one rooted in the quiet integrity Salim embodied. The economic landscape, once dominated by the relentless pursuit of material grandeur, subtly shifted, making space for enterprises that championed human dignity and sustainable purpose. Salim, no longer the invisible mechanic, found himself an unintentional architect of this cultural evolution, his principles becoming a silent blueprint for conscious commerce. The vibrant rhythm of the city, a ceaseless pulse of innovation and trade, began to beat with a more profound resonance, acknowledging the value of craftsmanship over mere acquisition. Each vehicle that left the restoration center, gleaming and reborn, carried with it not just the promise of renewed functionality, but a subtle message of hope, a tangible testament to the power of overlooked details and dedicated effort. These machines, imbued with a second life, became ambassadors of Salim's philosophy, moving through the bustling avenues as symbols of transformation, their purring engines singing a ballad of perseverance to all who heard. The apprentices, their skills honed under Salim's patient tutelage, carried this ethos into their own lives, becoming propagators of a work ethic that transcended personal gain, fostering a sense of collective responsibility and shared achievement. They learned that true mastery was not just about precision, but about the profound respect for the object, for the process, and for each other. Noura, with her characteristic grace, expanded her initiatives, channeling the company's success into broader community engagement. She spearheaded programs that offered mentorship and vocational training to marginalized youth, creating pathways for others to discover their own latent talents, much like Salim had done. Her vision extended beyond the company walls, aiming to cultivate a city where every individual, regardless of their background, could access the tools and opportunities to thrive. The once arid ground, now fertile with Salim's vision, continued to yield unexpected blooms, proving that genuine prosperity was an ecosystem, not a solitary harvest. The narrative of Salim & Co. was no longer just a corporate success story. It had become a societal movement, a quiet revolution blossoming in the heart of a city renowned for its overt splendors. The balance of the city's energy began to subtly shift, drawing strength from a deeper well of human connection and mutual upliftment, away from the singular pursuit of profit. The world watched, intrigued by this new paradigm emerging from the desert, a testament to the idea that true wealth resided in the collective well-being, in the nurturing of talent, and in the quiet, steady pursuit of purpose. The challenges ahead were significant, promising to test the foundations of this burgeoning movement, but a steadfast resilience had been forged, ready to meet them. The city, in its evolving grandeur, was on the cusp of understanding that its greatest legacy might not be in its towering structures, but in the soaring spirit of its people, ignited by the humble whispers of a mechanic's integrity. This burgeoning understanding, however, brought with it a subtle yet profound shift in the city's undercurrents, a quiet tremor beneath the polished facades of its modern marvels. The established order, accustomed to defining progress by vertical ascent and material accumulation, now found itself subtly challenged by the horizontal spread of Salim's ethos, a philosophy that valued depth over display. Whispers of his influence, once confined to the revitalized workshops and the appreciative murmurs of his employees, now traversed the bustling souks and hushed corporate corridors, seeding a new consciousness. This evolving awareness was not without its friction, a nascent tension between the old guard and the new visionaries. Some viewed Salim's success as an anomaly, a fleeting romantic ideal in a city built on hard-nosed transactions, while others, more attuned to the shifting zeitgeist, recognized its profound and lasting implications. The shimmering heat haze that often enveloped Dubai seemed, at times, to reflect this internal debate, distorting perceptions, obscuring the path forward. Noura, ever observant, felt this subtle recalibration of the city's pulse. Her community initiatives, initially met with polite interest, now garnered a deeper, more committed engagement, indicating a collective yearning for purpose beyond profit. She navigated this changing landscape with a quiet diplomacy, her presence a bridge between the pragmatic demands of commerce and the soaring aspirations of human development. Her programs, empowering the city's youth, became incubators of ingenuity, nurturing not just technical skills, but a sense of intrinsic worth and collective responsibility. These young minds, once resigned to the margins, now saw in Salim and Co. a tangible roadmap to a future where their contributions were valued, their voices heard. They carried the lessons of listening to the hum of an engine, to the needs of a community, to the whispers of their own potential, into every facet of their burgeoning lives. The fabric of the city began to reweave itself, thread by delicate thread, with integrity as its new, enduring pattern. Yet a palpable sense of anticipation lingered, a quiet hum before a storm. The challenges that lay ahead were not merely logistical or economic, they were existential, poised to test the very core of this newly forged collective spirit. The world, indeed, was watching, eager to see if this desert bloom, nurtured by humility and vision, could withstand the inevitable pressures of a globalized, often unforgiving market. Salim, with his steady gaze and unyielding commitment, understood that their journey was far from complete. He knew that the true measure of their success would not be in the further expansion of their enterprise, but in the enduring ripple effect of their values, in how deeply they could embed the principles of conscious commerce into the soul of Dubai. The golden light of dawn, though bright, often precedes the long, arduous day, and he prepared himself and his people for the trials that would surely come, knowing that their collective resilience, born of shared purpose, was their greatest asset. This quiet confidence, a beacon in the evolving grandeur of the city, served as a silent promise that the humble whispers of integrity would, against all odds, continue to guide their magnificent roar, echoing far beyond these walls into an uncertain yet hopeful future. The next chapter, he knew, would demand even greater courage, a deeper trust in the unseen currents of transformation that flowed beneath the surface of their bustling metropolis. The unseen currents began to manifest as more than whispers. They coalesced into subtle eddies within the city's networks, challenging the bedrock of ingrained perceptions. This evolution came not with grand pronouncements, but with quiet re-evaluation among the elite, a hesitant questioning of long-held metrics. Gleaming towers of commerce, once unassailable symbols, cast longer shadows as Salim's ethos illuminated alternative pathways, tangible successes. This silent shift rippled through boardrooms and institutions, stirring admiration and guarded resistance, a tension as pervasive as the noon heat haze that blurred lines between tradition and new ideals. Noura, ever an empath, sensed the recalibration. Her work with the city's youth, once a gentle outreach, became a potent force for cultural realignment. Her mentorship programs, meant to unearth hidden potential, became forums where young minds, emboldened by Salim and equipped with new skills, spoke of purpose and contribution, building a Dubai where innovation served humanity, not profit. Fluent in ancient tradition and rapid progress, this generation became the unwitting vanguard, their voices a chorus against fading paradigms. They learned not only trades but the art of listening to their talents, their communities, and a city urging deeper change, weaving integrity into the fabric of urban life. Salim, observing this consciousness, understood the task's magnitude. The trials were not only market pressures or lingering corruption, but the harder work of shifting ingrained mindsets, guiding a metropolis toward wealth defined by human flourishing and shared opportunity. He prepared his people for patient endurance and the steady application of values revolutionary to a society used to other benchmarks. Each restored engine, purring under their care, became a daily metaphor for the city's potential for regeneration, a testament that complex systems could return to harmonious function with genuine care. Their resilience, forged from shared purpose and respect for craft, was not only a shield, but a compass, guiding them through the metropolis toward a horizon where integrity and compassion defined success. The magnificent roar, once his personal triumph, was now a collective declaration. Every whisper of potential heard, every dream given the chance to soar beyond the skyline. He knew the enduring legacy would be etched not in gold or opulence, but in the awakened spirit of a people embracing a destiny more resonant than any individual fortune, ready for the next wave of transformation. This awakening, vibrant with collective purpose, drew a discerning eye from beyond the community Salim and Noura had cultivated, a gaze analytical and dispassionately assessing the fertile ground they had transformed. The city, recalibrating toward a more holistic prosperity, now faced the quiet arrival of a figure whose presence embodied the older, stratified ideals it was trying to outgrow. Its principles could embed in Dubai's core or remain a celebrated, isolated triumph. The air, once humming with shared growth, now carried a tremor of skepticism about the long-term viability of a philosophy that prioritized human flourishing over unchecked accumulation. Salim, sensitive to shifts in the city's pulse, felt the change keenly. He observed the expert not with fear, but with a keen, almost anthropological curiosity, noting the difference in their approaches to value. Where Salim saw an ecosystem of interconnected potential, the expert likely saw a managed resource ripe for optimization. That contrast created an invisible pressure, urging Salim to articulate and defend the intangible returns of empathy and integrity more clearly. He spent more time in the workshops, guiding apprentices with steady hands while his mind calibrated strategies for a nuanced battle of ideas. Each restored classic, revived with attention to its history and purpose, became a quiet rebuttal to superficial gain and a testament to the power of meticulous dedication. Noura, the intuitive strategist, subtly adapted her community programs, adding greater emphasis on self-reliance and the worth of local talent. She knew the expert might dismiss their initiatives as philanthropy rather than the foundations of a resilient, equitable economy. Her mentorships, already thriving, sharpened their focus, equipping youth with skills and an unshakable belief in their own value, a quiet defiance against being reduced to statistics. She fostered collaborations with artisans and small businesses, weaving a tighter net of mutual support, a bulwark against forces that might compartmentalize or dilute their vision. The desert bloom, now a vibrant tapestry, was being reinforced, its roots deepening to withstand any gust of change, however sophisticated. Its ascent found itself at a crossroads. Whispers of the expert's influence threaded elite gatherings, offering alternative narratives and a return to familiar benchmarks. Yet the tangible proof of Salim's method, the thriving apprentices, the revitalized vehicles, the palpable purpose within the team, spoke a more compelling language, a different prosperity measured in awakened spirits and flourishing communities. The balance remained precarious between two forces vying for Dubai's soul. Salim knew this was not a moment for grand gestures, but for unwavering conviction, the quiet, persistent practice of values that had carried them this far. He understood the true test would be sustained resonance in the face of subtle, powerful opposition, a challenge demanding their collective resilience, pushing them toward a deeper understanding of their transformative destiny, and beckoning them to define the very essence of progress for a city poised on the edge of its next grand narrative. Its quiet revolution now faced a crucible, its nascent ideals challenged by a formidable, almost spectral opponent. The expert, a figure of immense influence, wielded not overt power, but a subtle, pervasive skepticism, a silent question mark hanging over the city's burgeoning redefinition of success. This discerning gaze from the old guard forced a collective introspection, an urgent need to articulate the intrinsic value of human flourishing against the glittering allure of unchecked accumulation. The city, once an unquestioning disciple of rapid development, now wrestled with a profound philosophical divide, its future suspended between two starkly different visions of prosperity, each vying for its very soul. Salim, anchoring his people with a calm resolve, understood the depth of this ideological chasm. He knew this was not a battle waged in boardrooms with spreadsheets and quarterly reports, but a deeper contest for the heart of Dubai, a testament to whether genuine worth could truly eclipse superficial gain. He spent countless hours in the vibrant workshops, his hands, once calloused from pushing a cleaning cart, now guiding young apprentices through the intricate dance of restoration. Each gleaming chrome surface, each retuned engine, became a silent declaration, a tangible counter-argument to the expert's implicit dismissal of their methods. He articulated the philosophy of listening not just to the mechanical whispers of a classic car, but to the unspoken needs of their community, instilling in his team an unshakable belief in the enduring power of empathy and meticulous dedication. Noura, ever the intuitive strategist, sensed the urgent need to fortify their cultural foundations. Her community initiatives, once perceived as benevolent outreach, transformed into a strategic bulwark, reinforcing the self-reliance and inherent worth of local talent. She understood that the expert might dismiss their endeavors as mere philanthropy, failing to grasp their profound economic and social impact. With renewed vigor, she expanded mentorship programs, empowering youth with both practical skills and an unwavering sense of self-value, preparing them to resist any attempt to reduce their aspirations to mere statistics. She fostered deeper collaborations with local artisans and small businesses, weaving a resilient tapestry of mutual support that would withstand external pressures, ensuring their collective vision for an equitable economy remained unyielding. The city held its breath, suspended between two futures. The subtle currents of the expert's influence permeated elite gatherings, offering seductive narratives that favored familiar benchmarks of wealth and power. His impact, the thriving apprentices, the meticulously revitalized vehicles, the palpable sense of purpose resonating throughout the company, spoke a more compelling truth. This was a different kind of prosperity, measured in awakened spirits and flourishing communities, a living testament to a transformative destiny. The path ahead promised to be arduous, demanding unwavering conviction and a profound trust in the unseen forces of change that pulsed beneath the surface of their bustling metropolis. The audacity hung in the opulent air, stunning Zayed and igniting a cold spark in his emerald gaze. His crimson face, still flushed from Imran's failure, contorted into a malicious grin. A predatory glint replaced earlier despair, an unexpected opportunity, not just to silence the presumptuous cleaner, but to deliver a public lesson on the immutable hierarchy of his empire. Wasted expense, squandered time, the shattered illusion of his exclusive expertise would be avenged with one devastating stroke. He waved dismissively at Imran Khan, who stood stiffly, silently seething at the interruption from such a layman. Zayed's voice, feigning magnanimity, sliced the silence. "A look, you say, Salim?" he drawled, eyes sweeping the gathered elite whose faces mixed shock, scandal, and morbid fascination. "Very well. But every privilege has a price, does it not?" A chilling hush fell over the elite business summit. The crystal chandeliers seemed to dim, their light suddenly harsh, casting long, distorted shadows across the marble. Zayed fixed Salim with an intensity that promised not merely ruin, but absolute public annihilation. "The expenses incurred thus far in coaxing life back into this magnificent machine are considerable. Half that sum, a staggering amount, if you, the humble caretaker, fail to ignite its slumbering heart, will be your debt to me. And if by some unfathomable miracle you succeed, then this prized vehicle, this symbol of thwarted power, is yours to keep." The offer hung like a poisoned chalice, its cruel allure calculated to crush any hope. It was an impossible bet, a public spectacle engineered for maximum humiliation to teach the invisible caretaker his place in a world where true ingenuity was assumed to glitter with gold rather than whisper from calloused hands. The dignitaries shifted. A murmur rippled through the hall as Zayed's terms sank into the bones of the room. Salim, in his modest tailored thobe, seemed almost impossibly small against such wealth, the gamble's terrifying magnitude washing over him, fear threatening to engulf his fragile courage. Yet within the sanctuary of his heart, a different current stirred, a nascent defiance against disdain and the idea that his worth could be measured by such a cynical scale. The lavish surroundings, once intimidating, now felt like a gilded cage pressing in, yet they also sharpened his resolve. This was more than a car. In its inert grandeur, it was a testament. This was more than a bet. In its starkness, a fierce battle for a lifetime's dignity. The air crackled with unspoken tension. The city's collective breath held, waiting for the quiet, humble response that would either confirm the rigid order or shatter its foundations. A quiet, irresistible revolution brewing beneath the polished surface of opulence, ready to erupt. The challenge, cruel in its public spectacle, did not merely ask for a mechanic's skill, it demanded a soul. The silence that followed Zayed's pronouncement stretched across the hushed assembly, amplifying the thrum of Salim's accelerating heart. Every crystal chandelier and patterned marble seemed to press in, magnifying the weight of the wager. His modest thobe, stark against opulence, felt heavy with unspoken expectations and the certainty of ruin if he failed. He saw not malice in the faces around him, but shock, morbid curiosity, and the indifferent sheen of those beyond such stakes. They watched, waiting for the humble caretaker's capitulation. Fear, cold and sharp, coiled in his stomach. The sum loomed, a phantom debt that could shatter his family's fragile peace. His hands, usually steady, trembled at his sides. He saw Noura's face, her steadfastness, her gentle strength, and heard her voice. "You are a man who made miracles with engines." His father's desert wind wisdom followed. A motor is like a person. You have to know how to listen to what it's trying to say. The words were a balm, rekindling his courage. He looked at the inert classic, its desert orange gleam dulled by the shadow of despair, and saw not just metal, but a mirror of himself, a dormant spirit waiting for a humble hand to whisper it back to life. Inside him, a battle raged, the crushing weight of public humiliation versus the ember of dignity long suppressed. It was more than a car or a debt. It was a chance to reclaim his craft and himself. Zayed's condescension, Imran's scorn, and years of invisibility fed a nascent defiance. He would resist the cynical scale that measured worth by gold and assumed ingenuity must glitter rather than listen. A slow, steady breath calmed his pulse. The tremor faded, replaced by quiet resolve. His eyes met Zayed's predatory gaze. The hall's silence became a canvas for another narrative. The air, once crackling with tension, vibrated with a deeper energy, a moment suspended between established wealth and the budding spirit of quiet revolt. With a voice soft, but carrying generations of unspoken truth, Salim straightened, a small shift that spoke volumes, and declared to Zayed, the city, the whispering engine, and his reawakened soul, "I accept." A collective gasp rippled through the onlookers. Zayed, smiling cruelly, savored the impending public lesson for the invisible caretaker, unaware of the desert bloom beginning to unfold, ready to transform the arid landscape of their expectations. The true roar would soon prove to belong not to the loudest voice, but to the quietest, most dignified heart. The engine, patiently waiting, felt the touch of its rightful artisan, a connection that would redefine everything. The whispers began immediately, an insistent current through the gilded halls of the elite business summit after Salim's quiet declaration punctured the opulent silence. A collective gasp fractured the air, leaving an electric hum of disbelief and speculation. News of the impossible wager, a janitor daring to challenge the order, spread like wildfire, each retelling amplifying his audacity and the calculated cruelty of Zayed's terms. Employees of Al Maktoum Holdings, used to the impersonal machinery of corporate life, found themselves enmeshed in a drama larger than any memo. Hope mingled with fear in hushed conversations. Salim's acceptance was a stone cast into still waters, its ripples reaching every cubicle and workshop, awakening a dormant defiance in hearts long resigned. That evening, their humble home offered a stark contrast to the day's upheaval. Noura, her face marked by quiet concern and steady understanding, watched Salim enter, the day's confrontation clinging to him like desert dust. He moved with a subdued turmoil, Zayed's cruel proposition still echoing in his mind. The debt loomed like a phantom over their small space. When his eyes met hers, there was no accusation, only a deep gaze that held a silent question. He confessed his audacious choice, the words thin in the intimate air, describing the heat of the moment and the raw defiance that had welled up from years of being unseen. Noura listened, her hands, soft yet firm, taking his calloused ones. She offered no alarm, no talk of impossibility. Instead, a serene certainty settled over her features, a luminous faith steadier than any chandelier. Her voice, a melodic balm, carried quiet strength. "My love," she said, thumb tracing familiar lines in his palm. "You've always made miracles with engines, the smallest broken motor in our old neighborhood, and the grand machines your father taught you to read. Your hands speak a language others have forgotten." She held his gaze, drawing him into the sanctuary of her belief. "Perhaps it is not merely the car that awaits waking, Salim. Perhaps it is time for him to awaken too, the artisan within you." Her words unlatched a long-closed chamber in Salim's heart, a whisper of truth he had suppressed, an affirmation of the identity buried beneath routine and sacrifice. It ran deeper than fear of debt or public humiliation. It mirrored the man his father raised and the man Noura had always seen. The long-dormant confidence, shadowed by doubt and indifference, began to stir, a slow, warm current through his veins. Her faith was not blind hope, but a keen recognition of his worth, a light that banished lingering uncertainty. He straightened, a renewed purpose settling into quiet resolve. The engine awaited his touch, yes, but more profoundly the artisan within him was ready to roar. Night deepened around their home, yet within a silent dawn had broken, promising not just repair, but profound rediscovery. His path was clear. His strength, once a hidden ember, now burned steadily, ready to illuminate the intricate dance between man, machine, and destiny. A quiet, almost imperceptible shift rippled through Salim's being, transforming Zayed's challenge into a crucible for his renewed purpose. The night's silence, once heavy with phantom debt, became a vast canvas for strategies and insights aligning in his mind. Clarity replaced tremor as he replayed the engine's geometry, recalling every curve and hidden passage. Each component, gear, and wire seemed to hum with potential, waiting for the single touch that would wake its song. Noura, watching from the bedroom's soft shadows, understood. Her presence was an unspoken anchor, her steady strength a constant light against the uncertainty of the new day. She needed no words to know the journey he had begun, a solitary excavation of his forgotten genius, reclaiming what Zayed's world had tried to bury. This was more than repair. It was defiance against a system that equated worth with inheritance and noise. The stakes felt impossibly high, yet a resilient certainty bloomed within him. By dawn, pale streaks dyeing the east rose and gold, Salim was awake, resolve hardened into quiet determination. The city outside, usually a symphony of waking life, seemed to hold its breath. He moved through their home with new grace, each action deliberate, a sacred preparation. Morning routines became a meditation, a silent communion with the craft that had always defined him. His hands, steady now, bore the familiar ache of readiness, a primal link to tools and machines. He saw the classic car not as Zayed's trophy or Imran's failure, but as a complex puzzle, a testament to human ingenuity awaiting deciphering. This was vindication and homage, honoring creation, the dance of design and restoration, proving value lies not in ostentation, but in meticulous care and understanding. He pictured the engine's heart as a story yearning for voice, a soul awaiting resurrection by the quiet wisdom of his touch. His father's legacy pressed gently on his shoulders, a mantle of artisans who had spoken to machines with hands and heart. As the sun climbed, Salim stepped out, not into blinding scrutiny, but into a personal arena of affirmation. Expectations that once crushed him now focused his energy, carrying the whispers of his father's wisdom, Noura's faith, and the artisan's roar within. The city watched, its stories converging on this moment. A quiet man walking toward destiny, ready to show that true magnificence needs no showmanship, only humble, devoted pursuit. Every glint of chrome and polished surface amplified the quiet anticipation. The air hummed with an unspoken question. Could he awaken what specialists had deemed lost? His answer would be forged not in speeches but in the precise, intuitive movements of his hands. The ascent would not be through towers, but through the sacred mechanics of a single, slumbering heart, poised to beat again and send its message through the soul of Dubai, heralding a new appreciation for genuine worth. With the rising sun painting the desert sky in hues of rose and gold, Salim stepped into the deserted luxury garage, the silence a stark contrast to the city's awakening hum. His hands, though steady with purpose, held a subtle tremor, a testament to the blend of nerves and exhilaration stirring within him. He approached the classic desert orange car, its gleaming facade a silent challenge, its dormant engine a mystery awaiting his touch. "Let's find out what's bothering you, old friend," he whispered, his voice a low, intimate murmur in the vast space. For the first time in decades, as he unlatched and gently lifted the hood, Salim reconnected with his true element, the intricate dance of steel and wires a familiar language. He didn't immediately reach for tools. Instead, he simply observed, his senses acutely tuned, listening to the engine's silent plea. It was a moment of profound communion, a desert rose slowly unfolding from its glass dome, revealing its delicate hidden truth to the only one patient enough to truly see. His gaze lingered on a particular section, a minute detail others had dismissed or simply missed entirely. The soft gleam of metal, the precise alignment. Yet there was a whisper of discord, a barely perceptible imbalance that resonated only with his intuitive understanding. He felt the car's history in the scent of aged oil and metal, a narrative of power and neglect, of masterful design and deliberate obfuscation. Every wire, every hose, every spark plug became a character in this mechanical drama, each component telling its part of the story to Salim's discerning mind. The silence of the garage, once heavy with expectation, now felt charged with a deeper, unfolding revelation. This wasn't merely a mechanical puzzle. It was a conversation, a series of unspoken truths waiting to be acknowledged, to be brought into the light. The vibrant orange of the car seemed to deepen under his unwavering gaze, as if responding to his quiet affirmation, ready to share its long-held secrets with the artisan who finally understood its language. The journey of resurrection had truly begun, a silent promise whispered between man and machine. The subtle scent of aged oil and metal, a prelude only Salim's hands could read, thickened around him. He bent closer, posture taut, attuned to the whispers of steel rather than reaching for a wrench. His process was intimate, an intuitive dialogue with the dormant heart of the machine. Look, listen, let the engine speak. He prepared to resurrect not only a car, but the city's shaken expectations, his gaze an unblinking connection. He began a meticulous examination, not frantic, but reverent. His calm gaze traced the tangle of wires, the sheen of chrome, the gleam of every component. Each part held a fragment of the car's forgotten story, a testament to past and potential. He noted hose routing, bolt alignment, elements that should have shown wear yet appeared pristine. His calloused, sensitive fingers brushed surfaces seeking not just flaw but emotional resonance, a vibration of discord or harmony. The engine's silence, unnervingly perfect, spoke volumes. He found a subtle discrepancy, a minute misalignment in the carburetor, so small it would elude any less dedicated eye, a whisper of discord in an otherwise harmonious design. His mind, an archive of inherited mechanical wisdom, sifted through configurations and diagnoses. This anomaly felt eerily familiar. It was not natural wear or accident, it was too precise. A faint chill crept up his spine. This was deliberate. The carburetor had been tampered with, adjusted purposely wrong. A cold dread settled, eclipsing anticipation. This was calculated sabotage, meant to keep the classic car a costly failure and a symbol of broken promises. The challenge transcended repair. It was a mystery to unravel, a conspiracy that reached beyond the engine into the city's currents of influence and greed. The dance between man, machine, and destiny had taken a darker turn, demanding his mechanical genius and sharpened intuition to confront unseen forces bent on extinguishing genuine worth. The engine's silence now echoed deliberate deceit, a shroud over its beauty. Salim straightened, resolve hardening like tempered steel. Fear vanished from his hands and heart. His eyes held fierce determination, ready to peel back artifice and expose the rot beneath. The metallic scent became a silent challenge, a call to action that resonated in his soul. He knew with unshakable certainty that his task was greater than any wager or vindication. It was a quest for truth, a quiet battle against shadows threatening not only a magnificent machine, but the integrity and worth of the community he and Noura had built. Outside, the city's hum merged with the thrum of his waking purpose, each beat affirming his readiness for the confrontation that would reshape his destiny and the soul of Dubai toward inevitable reckoning. The weight of such profound deceit settled deep within Salim, transforming the metallic tang in the air from a mere scent into a visceral challenge, sharpening his focus with an almost preternatural clarity. His earlier quiet contemplation gave way to a precise, controlled intensity, every nerve attuned to the hidden battle lines drawn beneath the opulent veneer of the summit. The intricate dance of man, machine, and destiny had indeed taken a darker turn, demanding not just his mechanical genius, but a honed intuition to navigate the unseen forces at play. He glanced towards Zayed, who still held court with a subtle, predatory amusement, entirely oblivious to the silent revelation that had just transpired. The crowd, a shimmering tableau of wealth and influence, remained absorbed in their murmurs, unaware of the quiet earthquake rumbling beneath their polished feet. Salim's movements, once gentle and exploratory, now carried a deliberate, almost surgical precision. He did not raise his voice. The truth he held required no theatrics, only an unyielding presentation. His hands, still sensitive from their communion with the engine, now moved with a new kind of power, reaching not for a diagnostic tool, but for something that would lay bare the artifice. There was no anger, only an unwavering resolve, a cool determination that eclipsed any fear of the financial ruin Zayed had so gleefully orchestrated. His father's words resonated not as a whisper but as a steadfast echo of inherited wisdom. To mend a broken thing, you must first understand the fracture. Here the fracture was deliberate, malicious. He carefully, almost tenderly, began to dismantle a small section of the carburetor, his fingers navigating the delicate mechanisms with an intimate knowledge that bypassed mere technical skill. Each screw turned, each component gently eased from its housing, was a meticulous step in unraveling the carefully woven deception. The silence in the arena, already profound, seemed to deepen further as the onlookers, initially captivated by the simple act of inspection, now sensed a shift, an unspoken gravitas in Salim's focused labor. Pedro, among the apprentices, leaned forward, his youthful face a mask of intense concentration, absorbing the unspoken lesson that true understanding often demanded a patient, almost reverent deconstruction. Noura, observing from the periphery, felt a surge of cold dread mingle with a rising pride. She knew Salim's silent intensity. It was the precursor to profound revelation, a quiet storm gathering force. Her gaze locked with Zayed's for a fleeting moment, an unspoken challenge passing between them, a silent acknowledgement of the battle lines drawn not in the visible world of wealth, but in the unseen realm of integrity. She understood that Salim was not merely repairing an engine. He was meticulously dissecting a lie, preparing to expose a wound that ran far deeper than faulty mechanics. The air thickened with unspoken tension, the city's collective breath held, waiting for the humble artisan's truth to finally erupt, ready to redefine not just a wager, but the very essence of worth within its gilded heart. A palpable shift in the atmosphere preceded Salim's movement, the air compressing as if the room anticipated a long, obscured truth. His hands, steady and purposeful, completed the delicate dismantling. He lifted a tiny component from the carburetor's heart, holding it between thumb and forefinger. It was a pin, barely visible, its subtle bend, almost imperceptible to the untrained eye, testimony to calculated malice. The glint of metal caught the chandelier light, turning the innocent object into damning evidence, a silent accusation against the summit's grand illusion. A collective intake of breath rippled through the elite, a quiet gasp as the implication of such a deliberate flaw settled. Zayed's smile faltered. Unease crossed his features, his predatory gaze losing focus. Imran Khan, his earlier smugness gone, straightened, uncertainty tightening his posture. Salim's voice, soft yet authoritative, silenced the last murmurs. It carried the weight of generations of artisans, a quiet roar of integrity. "This," he began, turning the pin so its deformity was visible to the closest onlookers, "is not a symptom of wear, nor a consequence of neglect. This is a deliberate intervention designed to render a magnificent machine irrevocably silent. It speaks not of oversight, but of intent." He laid the pin on a pristine white cloth Noura had placed on a nearby stand, a stark contrast between purity and betrayal. His gaze swept bewildered faces, lingering on Zayed and Imran before returning to the engine, as if inviting it to witness the deceit. The silence that followed was heavy, pregnant with implications, each second stretching as the revelation sank into the hall. This was more than diagnosing a fault. It was an artisan unmasking conspiracy, a quiet man exposing moral rot beneath the city's glitter. The apprentices, faces mixing shock and vindication, exchanged knowing glances. Pedro, eyes wide with a new understanding of courage, felt proud of his mentor. Noura, dread replaced by quiet triumph, met Salim's steady gaze. A silent dialogue of belief passed between them, a profound acknowledgement that their journey had led to this undeniable truth. Her vision for a city of genuine worth, once aspiration, now felt inevitable. The opulent surroundings, once symbols of unassailable power, seemed to shrink before the unvarnished truth Salim had unveiled. The air, charged with exposed deceit, began to vibrate with a different energy, burgeoning justice. Zayed's face, once cruel amusement, contorted into barely suppressed fury, a storm behind his emerald eyes. The public humiliation he'd planned for Salim had reversed onto him. Imran Khan's rigid posture betrayed inner turmoil. His carefully built reputation threatened to crumble. The elite gathering's foundation, assumptions of hierarchy and unquestioned authority, now trembled. Salim, amid the silent aftermath, did not gloat. His purpose was to speak the truth and let it carve its path through the layers of artifice. The dormant engine, once a symbol of despair, seemed to thrum with quiet defiance, its secrets exposed. The city, through its representatives, was forced to confront a reality far more complex than a wager over a car. It was a reckoning, a questioning of values and soul. The magnificent roar poised to erupt would be not of an engine, but of an awakened consciousness, challenging the meaning of progress and worth in Dubai. The silence in the wake of Salim's quiet accusation was not emptiness, but a vessel for the deafening truth. The gilded hall, once a stage for Zayed's cruel machinations, now seemed to press in on him, each ornate detail mocking his earlier certainty. His face, a mask of barely contained rage, betrayed the tremor of his carefully constructed world beginning to crack. Imran Khan, visibly unnerved, shifted his weight, his eyes darting between the humble pin on the white cloth and the furious expression of his benefactor, the weight of his own complicity pressing down. The assembled elite, a tableau of carefully maintained composure, now held a fractured gaze, their whispers no longer of speculation, but of a dawning, unsettling understanding. The undeniable evidence of deliberate sabotage had stripped away the veneer of the impossible wager, revealing a deeper, more profound corruption. Salim, however, remained centered, his posture a testament to unwavering integrity amidst the burgeoning chaos. He offered no triumphant smile, no overt challenge. His truth had spoken for itself, a quiet thunder that resonated far more powerfully than any shouted accusation. His gaze, steady and clear, held a quiet expectation, a silent invitation for those present to confront the dissonance between the city's glittering image and the shadowed actions that often lurked beneath. And their initial shock giving way to a fierce collective pride stood a little taller, their belief in their mentor not just affirmed but solidified into an unbreakable conviction. Pedro, his youthful face alight with awe, understood that this was a masterclass not just in mechanics, but in moral courage, a lesson far beyond the hum of any engine. Noura, her heart swelling with a mixture of vindication and a quiet, profound joy, met Salim's eyes across the shifting crowd. In that brief, silent exchange, a lifetime of shared struggles and unwavering faith found its voice, a testament to a partnership built on genuine worth. She recognized that this moment transcended the individual, expanding into a societal reckoning, a call for Dubai to reevaluate the very foundations of its progress. Her vision of a city where compassion and character held as much currency as capital no longer felt like a distant dream, but an imminent reality, poised to unfurl with the force of an unstoppable tide. The opulent surroundings, once symbols of unassailable power, now felt almost fragile, their grandeur exposed as superficial against the profound weight of the human spirit Salim had so quietly unveiled. The energy in the hall, once defined by tension, now vibrated with a burgeoning sense of justice, a potent current that would undoubtedly ripple far beyond these walls. The city, through its most influential representatives, was being forced to confront a reality far more complex than a wager over a car. It was a reckoning of values, a questioning of soul. The magnificent roar, indeed, was not the sound of an engine brought back to life, but the awakening consciousness of a metropolis, finally ready to challenge its own ingrained perceptions of success and worth. This was the dawn of a new era, promising not just transformation, but a profound rediscovery of what truly flourished in the desert, a silent revolution whose echoes would reshape the future of Dubai, demanding a commitment to something far more enduring than fleeting gold. The path ahead would be fraught with resistance, yet the truth, once exposed, held an irreversible power, ready to forge a new legacy for a city on the cusp of true self-realization. That irreversible power, once unleashed, did not merely echo in the opulent hall, but surged through the corporate veins of Al Maktoum Holdings, prompting deep introspection among its employees. The carefully built edifice of Zayed's empire, exposed as brittle and corrupt by a humble pin, began to crumble, not with a crash, but with the quiet, devastating certainty of a truth finally seen. A palpable shift in allegiance moved through offices and workshops as whispered frustrations coalesced into a unified demand for integrity, a refusal to serve a system built on deceit. Zayed, his face etched with futile rage, retreated into the shadows of his ruin, his emerald gaze dulled by exposure. Imran Khan, his reputation shattered, vanished from public view, his deceit a stark testament to the superficiality they had once championed. Their grand schemes dissolved into obscurity, leaving a void that yearned for genuine purpose. From the quiet corners of accounting and the bustling floors of operations, new leadership emerged, galvanized by the moral clarity Salim had revealed. Jumana al-Harthi, once a whisper of concern, now spoke with the collective will of the workforce. She rallied colleagues. Their indignation became resolve, a determination to reclaim the company from corruption's ashes. Their initiative, born not of ambition but of a desire for dignity, pooled modest resources in an act of faith and secured the struggling firm, transforming it into a beacon of shared ownership. With unanimous consent, they offered Salim the role of principal partner and CEO, recognizing in his quiet strength and integrity the true foundation for renewal. His hesitation, shaped by a lifetime of humility, was eased by Noura's conviction and the hopeful pleas of his new partners. Salim, the invisible artisan, now stood at the helm. The calloused hands that once guided a cleaning cart now charted a course for an awakened corporation, a declaration of simplicity and meaning, worth measured in character, not wealth. His first decree established a luxury vehicle restoration center, a haven where apprentices like Pedro would learn not only engine mechanics, but the art of listening to its whispers, a wisdom passed through generations. Amid gleaming chrome and the scent of aged oil, meticulous dedication found sanctuary, proving that true ingenuity needs no glitter, only a humble hand attuned to truth. Noura, serene in her flowing kaftan, stood by his side. Her intuitive grasp of people complemented Salim's technical vision. She championed initiatives that nurtured community well-being, knowing true wealth lay in the health and happiness of the people. Their daily alhamdulillah became a public pledge of gratitude for a future built on shared values, a testament to desert ground made fertile for innovation and compassion. The once marginalized found their voices, their contributions celebrated, their potential recognized as the true currency of progress. The city began to perceive a different strength, rooted in collective well-being and genuine connection. The hum of restored engines blended with the hopeful murmur of human ambition, forming a symphony of awakened potential. This was more than a business. It was a living proverb, a vibrant ecosystem where unseen dreams were given the chance to roar, redefining prosperity. The journey had only begun, its path lit by integrity, promising transformations beyond material gain and etching a new legacy into the soul of Dubai. The etching of this new legacy into Dubai's soul was nuanced, a gradual awakening that transcended initial triumph and reshaped the city's consciousness. The ecosystem fostered by Salim & Co. branched into other sectors, inspiring conscious entrepreneurship. Gleaming facades were no longer the sole measure of success. The resonance of human potential began to define progress. Rigid corporate structures softened, allowing freer exchange of ideas and a deeper appreciation for diverse talents. Mentorship programs started by Noura proliferated, creating ripples of empowerment beyond the workshops. Young minds once overlooked found platforms to innovate, their perspectives weaving new patterns into the city's tapestry. This quiet revolution, born from an artisan's whisper, spoke in a collective voice, demanding a future where compassion and competence were linked. Change met subtle resistance from traditions that equated power with solitary accumulation. As tangible proof, the empowered employees, restored vehicles humming with renewed life, and a palpable shared purpose, spoke louder than opposition. Each success became testimony that true ingenuity needed no ostentation, only dedication and respect for every journey. Salim, a steady anchor, guided with quiet wisdom. His hands, still tied to steel and engine, also held the invisible threads of a growing community, weaving them into stronger fabric. Noura, his partner, emerged as a prominent voice for this paradigm. Her elegance, a counterpoint to the industrial setting, symbolized the integration of human flourishing into economic life. She championed initiatives that bridged divides, fostering collaborations between established firms and nascent community projects, so the benefits of this awareness reached all corners. Their daily alhamdulillah, once private, became a shared celebration, a public thanks for a future built on collective well-being. The desert bloom that turned arid soil fertile continued to yield unexpected fruits, showing that true wealth was a shared harvest of dignity and opportunity. A city long defined by towers and ventures began to embrace a deeper narrative of intrinsic worth and sustainable growth. The magnificent roar, no longer only an internal aspiration, became an external melody, a symphony of awakened potential resonating through streets and gardens. This was not an end, but a continuation toward a destiny forged in the quiet strength of its people, their integrity, and a collective pursuit of meaningful prosperity. The horizon shimmered with promises of further transformations, each one affirming that the most impactful legacies are built not in grandeur, but in steadfast nurturing of the human spirit. The subtle vibrations of a city on the cusp of grander self-realization continued to resonate, a silent promise of what was yet to unfold.